Y'all, welcome back to another video, and today, as you saw in my previous one, we're going to be building a diffuser for the Legacy. I'm building a budget diffuser. The main purpose of this was kind of to defeat the price of $300 something to get an Invictus diffuser shipped to my house. So far I've spent all of about $50, and then I got another like $50 worth of hardware and maybe another $20 worth of materials just so I can make it look extra perfect. But I've already kind of started and I forgot to keep track of some stuff. So right here we've got my cardboard mock. This will sit under the car. I should have a picture that I could pull up right now of it. But that's going to be the main diffuser part. We do have some side, they're not canards, but they're also part of the diffuser. These will sit on the outside, kind of like this. If you look, it'll mount like this under the car. Exhaust is going to be where my arm is. And then it'll be diffuser across. I built that about a month ago-ish. And then I just got the materials. This is just ABS plastic. I got 2 sheets of this. I can't remember the thickness. I want to say it was 1/4, but that's roughly how thick it is. And so far what I've done is I built a mock. I've got extra pieces like this that I have over here. So I built extra fins and extra base piece that'll go into the actual car. And from there, what I did is I went to good friend's house, and he's actually a woodsmith, and used some of his tools to cut these pieces to be roughly the same. And then what I did is I took them to a grindstone, refined the shape overall, and from there, that is where we got this piece. Now from this piece, what I'm going to do is I traced the line. You see that line right there? That line is going to go even with this sheet metal bender thingy. I can't remember what the name is. I just know it bends. So I'll heat up right along that line with the heat gun, and then I'll throw it in here, clamp it down, and then just pull this up, get a little bend, and then from there what I do is, this one actually just finished. This is what half of the fin looks like from the diffuser. This is straight after a bend. See how there's that little crack? That means I didn't heat that place up enough. So if you do it properly, I don't know if it'll focus. If you do it, it's kind of hot too. If you do it properly, you'll end up kind of something that's really smooth. And then just take a heat gun to it to solidify it and get some oils back into that plastic. But from this point on, I then take some JB Weld after prepping the surface slightly. JB Weld across this. Take another fin, slap it on to the other side, and then bang, let this sit for about 15 to about half hour worth of minutes, 15-30 minutes like this. JB Weld is cooking in there, and then from that point on, this is what it'll look like. See how it's slightly off? That's because my bends were slightly off. This one's a really bad one that I did, but this is all going to get filed down and hidden under the car. But from this point, what I'm going to do is I'll take it to this, cut it up, make it look perfect where these edges aren't perfect, and I'll take it outside and spray paint it, and this is what a final fin should look like. I have to correct those angles right there where they're slightly less than 90, but this is what the final fin should look like. And then this will get self-tap screwed into my base plate, which is right here, and then this will get self-tapped into my bumper, which I'll have installation and everything in this video, but that's the basic process. What I would suggest is finding a scrap piece of plastic that you have from this sheet, because you will have scraps. And I mean, I cut a few extra spares to test out the heat gun and prep my technique, I guess. But keep a piece of plastic, heat it up, practice heating it up and bending it before you actually use your final fins, and then go and do your final fins. And from there, I have to paint and file the rest of these pieces, and then I'm going to end up putting it on the car. But I actually have to order a few more of another sheet so I can build these things, since I kind of ran out, which I didn't realize I would, but you never know until you start cutting. So I ended up buying like 3 sheets of these. Well, 2 so far, but you're going to need about 3 total for the whole thing. I'm hoping it turns out decent. I mean, my mock turned out decent. If it doesn't turn out decent, I mean, I'm out $100. I could either try again with what I've learned from this one, hit 200. If that doesn't turn out decent, then another 100. And if that one turns out decent, then I broke even with what Invictus would cost. And this one would work a little bit better, I guess, because it's plastic versus metal, so this one won't get dented or scraped as easily. Well, the paint scraped off because this plastic is actually black. But before I ramble too long, cut to me finishing up some stuff, installing it and everything on the car, and then a final look. So hope y'all enjoy that. So I did forget the bus passing by. I did forget to actually record the installation, but here is the diffuser finished. That's what it looks like. And then from the side. So up close, this is the outer fin that I was talking about. All this one is just self-tapped into the actual plastic. So as I mentioned prior, I did say I was gonna self-tap the fins into the bumper, but what I actually did was I riveted them into my base plate and then self-tapped the base plate into the bumper. I didn't really do too much to get them too flush because I was done with feeling like completing it and I was just rushing it, but it definitely could be better, and if you have time and you want to focus on making it perfect, you definitely can. But what I did was, to flatten these out, I took a heat gun to it again, and then just pressed it on the ground for a few minutes on a flat surface. But for the rivets and stuff, that's what it looks like. Did 4 on each side. Going down, they do not go into the bumper, they're just sitting on the bumper. And yeah, that's how it looks. Same thing on the other side. And that's roughly how it looks when it's all said and done.